we actually afraid of? What are we actually afraid of? I've been looking at this in myself, within clients that I've been working with, and it's quite an interesting discovery, because there tends to be this fear of like a certain thing happening, right? Like, there's a storm coming, I'm gonna get struck by lightning, or I'm afraid I'm gonna lose my job, right? But are you actually afraid of losing the job, or are you afraid of the fear, of the pain, like the fear that comes with losing the job, right? So like people tend to be afraid of losing that job, but it's not the actual losing the job. It's the emotions that come along with that. It's the pain, it's the sadness, it's the fear. So we're actually afraid, fearful of the fear. Fearful of the fear. And it's quite interesting. As long as we keep being fearful of the fear will continue to perpetrate, because then we're going to continue to be afraid of these things that may never happen, and we're always trying to build our lives around never feeling this fear. We never want to feel the fear, but we're constantly feeling the fear because we never want to feel the fear. It's a wild paradigm that's been unlocked. But when we just accept the fear, like we just accept like, hey, fear is part of life, pain or sadness is part of life, like I just accept this emotion and I allow myself to actually feel it. So instead of trying to run from it and change all the things in life, and instead just sit there and actually feel the fear, like in that moment, the fear no longer becomes scary, because we're actually in it, like we're feeling it, we're present with it. And when we're present with it, it dissolves, like it no longer has that same like powerful impact. And now these situations and things that we're running from, like we're no longer running from them, we're no longer fearful of them, we no longer have the fear of the fear. And when we no longer have the fear of the fear, it all dissolves when we just actually sit and feel the emotion. It passes. I was with a friend yesterday, and some lightning was coming about, storm was coming in, and she got very afraid, like, and she wanted to like run and get out of the the weather, like get into the car as soon as possible. And I said, like, hey, let's just like sit in this, like let's just feel this emotion. And so instead of running from the fear, instead of running from the situation, we actually just like were walking super slowly and just felt the fear. And then all of a sudden within her, the fear dissolved, and she found like an incredible sense of peace. And so a lot of our lives, we're like running from these storms that 99.9999% of the time never happens, but then we're consistently actually feeling the fear because we're afraid of the fear. So the exact thing that we're running from is what we're getting. And so it's important that we just lean into it and we accept what is. Like I was listening to a podcast the other night of Tom Aspinall, who is the best heavyweight UFC fighter in the world. And he was talking about, he has fear. Like, he's the best in the world, but like he's stepping into these rings and he just accepts the fear. He accepts that it's part of this process. And I think that's a big part of what separates him, and what separates a lot of these champions is like they feel the emotion, like they accept the emotion. Like I think Connor talked about like, hey, like how does he know how the other person's feeling? Because he knows how he's feeling. So you actually can feel this emotion inside of yourself, and it's a beautiful process to just accept the emotion. Like the other morning, I didn't really get any sleep this one night. I went to like a music festival, and so the morning was coming in, I was just feeling like a little off, and I was like, how am I gonna, had a bunch of coaching calls that morning. Like, how am I gonna like show up as my best self for this? How am I gonna show up as my best self? And it was just an interesting process. And I realized like I was feeling this fear, and I was on a walk just like kind of clearing my mind, and I realized there was nowhere to go. Like there's nowhere to go. You can't escape yourself, period. Like we cannot escape ourselves, period. And so when we try to run from these feelings, like there's really nowhere to go. The only way through is to accept what is, to accept whatever emotion. And as I did that, like I started to feel so much peace and love because I accepted the fear. And then I ended up running into a person, had an amazing conversation with them, very uplifting, inspiring. And then I had my morning filled with coaching calls, and I crushed them. Best coaching calls I've had. Just really in the flow, like really in the present moment. And just absolute peace and beauty, because I accepted the fear, right? And you accept the fear and you go and you do it anyway. Like you don't let the fear run your life. Just like Tom Aspinall, right? Like he feels fear going to fight, but he's not avoiding the fear and like not being like, oh, I can't fight because like I'm feeling some fear. It's like, no, like this is part of it. And so we just accept it. And when we let go of the fear, that's when we can really live. And that's where I feel like all the fear dissipates, and we're able to get into the present moment and live and become that champion of our own lives. Well, I appreciate you tuning in, being present, getting in flow, learning, growing, and being in this beautiful life together. This life where we have one chance that we know for sure. This experience of life that is not permanent. So let's make the most of it. I love you. I'll see you on the next video.